As a disclaimer, I want to give some time to explain that this lesson has been adapted from a classroom setting to an online platform like YouTube. Now, whether or not you are a beginner or an experienced actor, evaluating the text of a script to understand the emotions and goals of our characters is the first step in creating fantastic theater. So our goals for this lesson are going to be as follows. 1. You want to be able to list 4 adjectives to describe the feelings of the characters we read about on our handouts. That's the one in the description. And you want to be able to make a summary based on the adjectives you wrote with 3 or 4 sentences about your character's emotions and goals. Now, the process of script analysis is what we're going to be going over for a majority of this lesson. But just so you know that if we were in a class, a lot of this time that we would be dedicating for this lesson would be towards practicing activities together as a class or in groups, individuals. But for now, I want to leave it to you to do your own practice and go over the things that we talk about in this video. So moving on, the process of script analysis is based on principles which can form the foundation of your study on a character story. These principles include reading your script more than once, to view it from different perspectives, and to look at different details. 2, doing your research on the characters, the story, the setting. 3, being open to notes and commentary from your director, which is really important, and your fellow actors. Then simplifying through the use of action verbs, which we'll talk about in another video. And then for future lessons, practicing with different voices or timing. Now, when you start analyzing a monologue or scene, I would use these 3 steps. 1, highlighting or marking important words. 2, asking questions like the ones you see on this slide. 3, highlighting or marking changes in tone or character. For example number 1, I'll show you how I would use this process to analyze a monologue from The Cherry Orchard by Anton Chekhov. I took the time beforehand to give you the information I researched about this play. Making sure to at least start with some background information on the play or film you are working on will be a great advantage for your analysis. Now, based on all this information, as a whole, I could say that this scene that I will be going over is about Madame Lubov, a middle-aged woman in Russia during the 1900s who is going to lose her home. For the analysis, you can follow along with the handout to view the whole monologue, but I will be working with a piece of the monologue on a board. On the handout, you can probably see the entire monologue, but I'm going to be focusing just on the first few sentences of this monologue for the sake of fitting it on the board. So let's go over a little bit of the process that we talked about earlier. So we talked about marking significant words, asking ourselves questions while reading, and marking spots where we think there's a change in character or tone. I'm going to go through it and underline a few things or mark a few things as I go. So just follow me and we'll talk about it more as we go. Okay, so I've gone through and just highlighted a few things that I noticed in the monologue. So let's go over them. So go over the first question or the first step. Mark important questions. So I marked these words. Truth. It comes up a lot actually. 1, 2. That's enough times to consider it important. It's repetitive in nature. And later on, there are a few things that we might be missing since I'm not reading the whole thing. So feeling lost. Sight. Nothing. Boldly. Questions. What questions? Tell me, dear. Time. Suffer. Questions. Again. So as you notice, there's a bit of repetition in some of the words, and maybe that means that they're that important to what the character is talking about. They're talking about questions. What questions are they talking about? Who is the person that Madame Lubov is talking to? Apparently in the monologue or in the scene, she's talking to a young man who's a teacher. And maybe that is just the difference between her and this student or this teacher, because he is younger than her, but he seems to know it all. And she's older and she's experienced many things, even that she might have suffered a lot. So maybe this is her navigating her own feelings. What has she gone through? What is it that she's losing? She's losing her home. And what's happened at this home? She grew up here. She grew up there. She experienced loss with her own family. So imagine all that. What has she gone through? Is there anything that I've gone through that's similar to that? Those are a few ideas to get you started on important questions to ask yourself for step number 2. Now, step number 3. Mark the times where you think there's an important character or tone change. This could be a variety of things, and it's subjective, so it depends on the way that you read it. For example, I saw that you could change the tone at this part right here. So you could say, "What truth? You see where truth is, but I seem to have lost my sight and see nothing." In one way, you could see, maybe she's sad. What truth? You see where truth is, but I seem to have lost my sight and see nothing. Or maybe she's just being sarcastic, trying to mock him. What truth? You see where truth is, but I seem to have lost my sight and see nothing. So maybe she's frustrated. She's trying to point a jab at him a little bit because he thinks he knows it all. But then this next part seems more aggressive, more angry. It says, "You boldly settle all important questions. But tell me, dear, isn't it because you haven't had time to suffer till you settled a single one of your questions?" Important question. She's trying to really get to know what he thinks. If anything, she's trying to back him into a corner. So these are the important things. Recognize that each section could have a different meaning or a different message to the person that they're talking to. And that is what you want to pick up on. So that's it. That's a start for what you can go through with this step-by-step system of script analysis. Let's continue with the lesson. Now, like I said earlier, if we're going to be going over a script, I would use these 3 steps of marking important words, marking the changes in tone or character, and asking questions. We would go through it together as a class at some point, but let's keep going, and you can see some of the notes that I made here and those that I made on the board earlier. To end class for today, I wanted to practice some meditation. This is a practice used by many actors to clear their minds and prepare themselves for the stage. So why don't we make it a habit to do the same, to de-stress, reflect, and prepare for the next class. Now, wherever you are, I want to challenge you to get out of your chairs. Find a place with some space and shake it out. Get loose. If you feel more comfortable doing so, you can do this exercise sitting down in a comfortable position with a nice straight back. You can even close your eyes to help you focus. Just don't fall or bump into anyone if you're standing and moving around. Now, you can also start stretching it out. Take the time to focus on your body. What it is feeling. Are you a little sore? While you stretch, sit or stand, I want you to start taking deep breaths. Wherever you are or whatever you're doing, wherever you are or whatever you are doing, take this time to settle down and calm your body. Let yourself focus on the breath, in and out. No more stress from school, work, or home. With each breath, let each thought out. Thanks for doing that with me, everyone. Learning how to meditate and evaluate how you feel can help you as an actor better understand and analyze how the characters we study might feel when we act. Thank you for attending this lesson. Have a great day, everyone.